Everybody come and catch the show. You want dad jokes, they got plenty of those. So relax and listen on as Dev and Kyle start the apocalypse.
Bah, bah. I know I came in early. I don't give a rat's ass because it's after the 4th of July.
You were saying you could hear my audio now.
I can, and it's like, yeah. You know what else I can hear? Fireworks nonstop for the next 6 weeks because Kid Rock saw a shadow.
Are there constant Kentucky fireworks?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
From about a week before the 4th until literally 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Until Christmas?
I mean, not until Christmas. You'll see them come back out around Labor Day. Some people will save them up or go out and just buy new ones.
Sure. That's what happens every time you have fireworks. You just always have to buy new ones.
Yeah. Like it's illegal to go and buy your own fireworks in Arizona, correct?
No. Welcome, everybody, by the way. It's Dev and Kyle for the apocalypse.
Oh, hey. Yeah.
We should tell you that. Yeah. So we loosened up the restrictions, and so you can't do the aerials.
Aerials. So does that include bottle rockets?
And mermaids.
And the ones that have like they look like a bottle rocket, but they're bigger, but it's pretty much a mortar on a stick.
Roman candles.
It's got like not a Roman. Oh, you can't do Roman candles either?
No, we can't. Anything that like shoots and leaves, you can't do. Like a panda, you can't do that either.
So Ron Jeremy couldn't have been in Arizona ever until he got arrested.
I guess. I don't know. I've only ever seen Ron Jeremy in a Las Vegas airport.
Oh, so yeah. That's another story.
I'm not actually sure I know what he's famous for.
That's funny. That you said that with a serious face for more than a second is impressive.
I learned that trick from Ron. What it is staying power. That's what you really got.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Believe it or not.
You're walking on air.
Whoa.
What's up? Believe or what?
I have never actually seen a Ron Jeremy film other than like a GIF that's available anywhere that it would be like PG-13.
Sure. Parable where better gifts are sold.
I just know what he's famous for, but I've never actually seen the man at work.
Hold on.
I know he's hairy as shit. He looks like freaking Mario, which I don't know why anybody.
That's not the important part right now.
No, the important part is his junk.
No, the important part is that on the eve of our anniversary show, it is discovered that the apocalypse is starting because you just said GIF.
GIF.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
You got me the gift of content for this show.
The GIF. GIF. Go.
Do you care how you say it? Are you doing it to screw people up?
I honestly, I go back and forth because I don't really have a camp that I side in with it. It's just whatever comes out in the moment. Sometimes I say GIF, sometimes I say GIF. Like it, and in my head, when I see it, GIF, I say it both ways at the same. It comes in my subconscious at the same time to where I don't really have. I know it may sound weird. It's kind of like looking at a magic eye.
Your interest in GIFs goes both ways. I've heard it.
Yeah, I am by GIF.
I used to have a very strong opinion, but as we've discussed already on this show, I don't have that opinion anymore. You say GIF, you say GIF, I say, we both know what you're talking about. Doesn't matter. I don't care.
The moving pictures that just go for a few seconds.
The moving picture show.
Usually have text that go with what the audio would say.
Yeah.
For those that don't know what we're talking about, for those boomers that might be listening.
Yeah, like if you go on Discord, you can use Giphy to deliver those. How you been, buddy? We took a week off for.
Holy shit!
We took an episode off for Father's Day and or a vacation, depending how we wanted to slice our time.
There's so much to unpack. We have
So much has happened.
literal suitcases, no pun intended because of your vacation, but we have suitcases to unpack.
Where do you want to start?
Let's start
Pre-pandemic. Nope. Okay. That's too far back.
What? No. Dial it in.
I was born in a hospital in June. No, never mind.
Back in 1983, two people loved each other very much. And in April, the
fact that you just did that math, or even worse, didn't have to do that math.
But I was born in December. 9 months before December is what? April.
Sure. Okay. I know that you are right.
Parents' anniversary was in April.
No, but I think it's February. I think it's because it's 40 weeks. It's closer to 10 months.
Close enough.
I think the difference between February and April is a big difference, especially if you're trying to peg something as it's their anniversary.
Close enough. or Valentine's, one of the two. Math is not my strong suit, obviously.
So where did you want to start? Pre-Father's Day.
Father's Day.
Oh, Father's Day. How was Father's Day? Happy belated Father's Day to you.
It was great. Happy belated Father's Day to you and all the fathers listening, watching.
Mm-hmm. Even if you don't know it yet.
Even
if it is your proverbial February to your Devin December. Could be listening right now.
That's when I found out I was going to be. Yeah, a biological father was at. I've got a Valentine's Day card that I thought was from my wife and stepson, and it was, hey.
I found out at a Corleone's sandwich shop, Philly cheesesteaks. My wife said, "I just want to come by the office and see you." Okay, didn't seem weird. Got weird.
I was told that there was a special gift that my stepson wanted to give to me for Valentine's Day early, and that he was going to be angry that I was getting it without him being present, which I thought was kind of odd, but I was like,
well,
okay. But
especially when you found out what it was.
Yeah, once I found out what it was, I was like, okay, now I know why she didn't want him to be here because, but yeah, that was when I found out it was Valentine's Day.
Congratulations. Belated congratulations.
That was almost 2 years ago. Belated congratulations.
I received all of my Father's Day cards while driving 75 miles an hour between Amarillo, Texas and Kansas City, Missouri on my vacation this year.
Was that when you were texting me?
Yeah, well, because the car was driving.
One of the few times when you were, one of the many times, not few times, one of the many times when you were texting me and going, yeah, I'm driving right now. Actually, I'm not driving. My car is driving.
Yeah.
I have it in autopilot.
The greatest way to take a road trip.
Oh, yeah.
Is to just have one finger on the wheel and be able to text.
It's every American's dream.
I didn't get kicked out because it watches you and it kicks you out. And then if you get kicked out, you go in the penalty box. The first time you get kicked out, you go in the penalty box for the rest of your drive.
What?
This is 100% true about Tesla Autopilot.
Was this hockey?
Because all these stories about people you could just sleep and then it crashes into the cliff. It's not hard. I don't want to make it sound onerous. It is more relaxing than having to actually drive.
Okay.
But you cannot just unbuckle your seatbelt and climb in the back seat and take a nap. It registers whether or not there's continuous weight in the driver's seat. It automatically disconnects if you unbuckle your seatbelt. It pays attention to whether or not you are applying torque to the steering wheel. And then in some of the cars are equipped with an internal cabin camera that using AI determines whether or not you are looking at the road and therefore will see you looking at your phone. I don't have the internal cabin camera on the road trip car.
Obviously.
So that's why I was able to hang on to the steering wheel and just and text you and tell you about my Father's Day gifts and cards while you were complaining about your 2-year-old child's lack of creativity in crafting something for you. What did you say? The kid's making shoes with better quality than the card she gave you?
She made a card for Mother's Day, but because she was at school at the time. So they actually had help to make it. So kudos to the teachers for helping her make an amazing Mother's Day card. But I got a generic card about farts that was just picked out, and there was no creativity to it. I was like, did you even take her with you to pick this out? She was like, no, I thought you would find it funny. I was like, you set the bar really high last year. I got a Ted Lasso card last year.
Oh,
which I was like, oh, you have went up here. I don't care. I didn't get anything else but the card because I didn't want anything else. I was like, this is my first Father's Day. I just want to spend time with everybody, go play some golf, and then come home and just chill with everybody and go have a nice dinner. And that's it. Didn't want any gifts. Didn't get any gifts. Got the Ted Lasso card. That set the bar super high without any gifts.
Because your daughter has seen all of Ted Lasso, and so it's very sentimental to you both.
Yes. She has watched it on all my rewatch. She's watched it with me. No. I thought I was going to get more than a fart card. Now, I did get to go to Golf Galaxy, and I got to pick out a new golf fit. So I got that, and I was pretty happy.
What is Golf Galaxy?
It's owned by Dick's Sporting Goods.
Oh, thank you for finishing that sentence. Do they want to sponsor the show?
Dick's Sporting Goods. Not Dick's, comma. Dick apostrophe S. Dick's Sporting Goods. You don't have Dick's Sporting Goods?
We have Dick's, but we don't have a Golf Galaxy. Or maybe if they do, I don't know where it is.
You probably have a Golf Galaxy. Well, actually, you all have a PGA Superstore, I think, in Phoenix.
Yes, we do have that. It's like right next door to the Dick's.
Yeah, that trumps Golf Galaxy.
Oh, okay.
Golf Galaxy is like mini version of PGA Superstore, but the same thing. Clubs, outfits, apparel, accessories, all that kind of stuff. And they've got bays that you can go and get fitted. They have a whole fitting session and all that good jazz.
Is your wife upset by that?
By what?
Just go and get fitted by your bay?
It's not joke time.
It's always joke time on this show, Dev.
I mean, I did hit us right off the bat with a good one. I can't. I got to pat myself on the back. I'm going to break my elbow doing it, but hey.
Speaking of fantastic jokes and, I mean, potentially being a terrible father, here we go. In a callback to our last episode, much like how this show has predicted a few terrible situations.
Just a few.
Last episode, we were talking about the world's most expensive scuba mask. And then in the intervening time, there's a scuba disaster. Submarine.
Was it a large propane tank?
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, one working person and 4 billionaires were in a submarine that imploded the ocean gate, to which my 9-year-old said, boy, that's some really expensive salsa.
Wow.
Right?
I don't know whether to be shocked or proud.
I'm proud.
Or like a bit of both.
We were on vacation visiting with my wife's family. We were out to dinner, and my nephew, he's like 15, so he's at the dinner table scrolling through his phone, and he pops up back to the table, and he says, "You're not gonna believe this." And he shows his dad, and he shows me that on that day, apparently for only like an hour, whether it was an accident or what happened, they actually posted a job opening for a pilot of the submarine at Ocean Gate, like on their website. Whether somebody hacked them or what happened, I don't know.
I would hope that it was somebody that hacked them instead of them just going, yeah, we're looking for somebody to pilot it instead of our man here that's the CEO and founder.
To which my 12-year-old said, well, you have to imagine that there's a little bit of a power vacuum over there. And that's the greatest thing. That's the greatest gift I've ever gotten from my children, were those two jokes.
That was your Father's Day gift right there, in a bucket, in a vacuum. What a way to pop off Father's Day.
I really enjoyed it.
I can only imagine the joy you felt in your heart. I've wanted to laugh at the situation because who pays $250,000 to go into a basically homemade sub? And I know this has been talked about ad nauseum.
That's never stopped us before, Dev. So let's keep going.
Thousands of people. It's never stopped us. But you pay $250,000 to go into a homemade freaking sub that looks like a propane tank, to where for guaranteed bare minimum 8 hours, you and 4 other people are going to be, I mean,
yeah, it's real small.
Asshole and elbows with only little tube lights above you and a freaking Logitech controller that looks like it's from 2000 for a PlayStation 1.
All of these things are true.
I feel bad for the loss of life, because that is an awful way to go, especially for the teenage son that was going on it, because
that's true.
He had told people in his family and his friends that he did not want to go, and he was terrified. And he was only going because his dad was really excited and was really wanting him to go with him and experience it. And it was Father's Day, so he was just going along to make his dad happy. And it was like, all right, and I get to do something that's a once in a lifetime thing too. But he was terrified and did not want to go.
Apparently the ticket was purchased for the mother. Like, talk about horrible. That at the last second, the mom was like, I don't want to go.
I don't want to go. Take
our boy. Could you imagine?
The guilt.
Yeah.
Forever.
Forever. So genuinely, and I rarely say this, like, all jokes aside, that's gotta suck.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I can't imagine the feeling of anyone in any of their family or any of their friends to be like,
of course,
they went down to do something that had been done dozens of times before. No problem.
I think so. Yeah.
So the average person goes, oh, it's happened before. There's been no issues.
Yep.
It's cool. But then other people are coming out and saying, oh, when we went down, we had loss of comms. We had this, we had that.
But you're 4,000 meters under the ocean. Like, that doesn't seem like.
Yeah, to a degree. Yeah.
If you told me a month ago, you're like, hey, I'm going to take a submarine 4,000 meters under the ocean, and while we're down there, we might lose cell signal for a while. I'd be like, you have cell signal while you're down there to begin with?
True. But like radio signal.
Well, I know, but even still.
Because even when James Cameron went down, he had radio signal.
Oh, James Cameron.
Jimmy Cameron.
He's your boy, right?
Jimmy Cameron is like, he set the precedent for going underwater. Like, if
he's not president.
Oh, for going that depth for as many times as he's gone and for the length that he's gone.
He's president of the ocean.
President. God, I hate you sometimes.
And yet every time I ping you, I'm like, hey, we should record. You're like, I'll do it again. And it was exactly like this last time. And it'll be like this next time.
He is basically the fucking president of the ocean. He is the president. If anybody is the president of the ocean, it's Jimmy Cameron.
By that logic, Monica Lewinsky would have been president.
I see what you did there. And that's why Hillary will never, ever be president.
By president of the ocean standards.
How many times you've gone down and how long you've been down there?
But I guess they also never made Nancy Reagan president either. And that would have balanced it out on the other side of it. The GOAT.
Screw Nancy Reagan. God rest her soul. Screw her.
So what'd you do after Father's Day while I was on vacation?
Oh, lost power for multiple days.
Tell me this whole story. You sent me one picture. I looked at it. It looked terrifying. Mostly I thought that there were 4 people in that photo and that 3 of them might be dead by the time you got the photo sent to me. What happened?
We had tornadic activity that came through.
Not a tornado, just tornadic activity?
Basically was a mini F1 that nothing ever touched down, and they never set off the... So we had a thunderstorm warning, and this was a Sunday, and I went and I was playing golf, and I got done playing golf, and I came home right before the beginning of this thunderstorm warning with some tornado watches. Not tornado warnings, watches. Tornado watch is like...
A watch is less than a warning, right?
Correct. A watch is like, let's have tacos. A warning is, we're having tacos.
Oh, okay.
There are tacos on the table. We're eating tacos right now.
Okay.
A watch is like, let's have Taco Tuesday. A warning is, Taco Tuesday is happening right now.
Okay. I got it.
So we were in, let's have Taco Tuesday. There was a potential to make tacos. Tacos had not been made yet. So I get home and there's potential to be tacos.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit, it looks kind of nasty in the sky. There's some sprinkles that come down. I get home. We're like, get ready to hunker down. As soon as I pull in the driveway and get in the garage, the tornado sirens go off. Come inside. We go into the basement. Sirens are going off. We're watching the TV. It's showing the red and orange is right over our neighborhood. And we're like, all right,
shit.
It's happening. We're going to get hit with a tornado. And they're like, yeah, there's potential. We're seeing here in the area where there's spirals that could be potential tornadoes. Then an hour later, it comes, it goes, clear skies. We're like, all right, we come out of the basement, go about our day. About an hour and a half later, out of nowhere, sky turns like greenish, purplish, and then winds start coming, hail starts coming. It sounds like a freaking freight train. Rain is pouring down so hard you could barely see our neighbor's house. Trees are bending over. We come into the basement. The lights were going on and off, and then we lost complete power. And that went on for about an hour. And it sounded like all hell was going loose outside.
Oh, shit.
After it went by, it was completely calm and went out, and there were trees down everywhere, leaves and branches and stuff strewn about everywhere. And we were blocked in. Our complete entrance and exit of our only in and out of our neighborhood had power lines down across the road. So no one can get in and out.
Oh, shit. And so there's one street in and out, or there's
one street in and out. Well, you come into our neighborhood, there's only one street that comes in from the main road. And then there's like multiple dead end cul-de-sacs that come in. And then we live at the dead end of the main road. So
like how many people were locked in Apocalypseville with you?
125 homes.
And you were all trapped?
We were all trapped. No way in or out.
Damn, did you have milk and bread?
Milk sandwiches.
Luckily, we had enough food to get through, and we had enough Arctic and Yeti knockoff coolers that we just took all the ice, dumped it in, and then we made it through for 3 days. And then we got power out of nowhere. In the middle of the night, it just popped on about 3 a.m.
Did they clear the road and you got power back at the same time? Or
no, we got power back, and then we didn't get the road cleared for almost another half day.
Damn.
Yeah.
Were there like people with painted faces and like lighting fires and oil drums out in the middle of the streets, or what was going on?
I mean, our Facebook neighborhood group was on the verge of going complete ballistic, like Lord of the Flies.
You participate in a Facebook neighborhood group?
I don't.
Someone
in my house does.
Someone in your house does?
But I get I've been asked, or I have asked to be invited to this Facebook group so I could see all of the ridiculousness that is said, because 99.9% of the stuff that is on there is just the most ludicrous,
it's crazy,
ranting and raving from the same 15 people over and over and over. And then another 24 people that chime in and chastise or give their opinion. And then other people will just pile on. But I just want to be able to read it and see it and know who my crazy neighbors are, so I can understand them a little more. I want to say judge, but I don't want to judge.
I can't do that. We have not in this neighborhood. I mean, I have it. Everybody's got it. In my previous house, I didn't know how toxic Nextdoor was going to be.
Yes.
So I joined it and I read about it.
No.
Do you have, I don't know if it's a Phoenix thing or not. I don't know. Do you have alleys like behind your houses that the garbage trucks drive through?
In downtown Louisville, yes. But not in like the suburbs or the areas that I live in. And in some of I take that back. There's like a couple of newer all-inclusive neighborhoods that are more well-to-do that have kind of alleys that's where people put their garbages in the back. And there's like just an alley in the back. But that's only in certain areas. Most of them most of those areas are downtown and the older sections of Louisville.
Yeah. So maybe it's just like an older thing, but the houses basically the houses that were built from the 60s. The house I grew up in had one out through probably the tail end of the 90s. I don't really know when it kind of ended. But they had behind the house, wide enough for a big garbage truck to drive down.
Yeah.
And then a giant like dumpster back there. So you never had to worry what day trash day was. You didn't have to put your can out on the curb. You just take it into the alley and throw it in this gigantic bin. And then the huge trash truck would come and lift that up. Okay. They're paved with like broken rocks.
Yeah.
But because they kind of cut, and again, I grew up in a neighborhood with alleys, they cut differently than the streets cut. So if you're on one side of a suburban neighborhood, it can very well be the shortest way significantly on foot to get from where you are to where you need to be, because it'll sometimes like cut triangularly across a block. So you're talking about shaving off 40% of what you would have to do if you stuck to the streets.
Right.
Okay. The Nextdoor post, I swear to Christ, is so stupid.
How do you really feel?
I saw a person in the alley carrying a razor scooter, but they were carrying it. Why wouldn't you be riding it if you had that?
I have to butt in.
These alleys are paved with like huge rock. It's like, it's not gravel. It's huge rocks and like 4 inches deep of this rock so that these super heavy trash trucks can drive on it week after week after week, and they never have to go back and fix it.
Right.
So it's a surface that is literally impossible to ride a razor scooter on. If you put a razor scooter down on it, the wheels would just sink in the rock and the footrest would just sit on the rock.
And you would go, boom.
No, you wouldn't even fall over because the footrest would just sit on the rock as if you had no wheels, because the wheels would just sink.
Oh, you couldn't even roll up onto it.
You can't roll. No, there's no rolling whatsoever.
Fair enough.
I can't imagine why you would carry the scooter in that situation. Just physics. That's one reason why you might do that.
That could be a good reason.
I am leaving out the part that the person said that explained the whole post when they said, I mean, they didn't use the phrase person of color, but they referred to the fact that this was a person of color. And I was like, I'm fucking done with this. And that's when I deleted my account with that post.
Yeah.
That's the reason I deleted I was like, I don't need you people.
It's like, it had nothing to do with the scooter all along.
Nope. It was never the scooter all along.
You're like reading like 2 paragraphs in, you're like, I'm still not understanding why. And then you're like, oh,
yep.
Okay. I see that word now. Okay, now I'm good. I'm done. All right. I'm going to read the rest of it to see how many more times she says it.
My boss did show me one time where a woman on his Nextdoor neighborhood publicly posted what was intended to be a DM thanking the local esthetician for doing a very good job laser waxing her bikini line.
What?
Yeah. So like instead of sending a DM, it was like a public comment on the laser waxing advertisement and use the person's first name, who was the technician.
Anesthetician? Is that how you say that? Anesthetician?
Esthetician is a person who puts you to sleep.
Esthetician?
Esthetician is a person, I think, who pops your pimples.
Esthetician?
And then there's a different word, I think, for somebody who lasers your bikini line.
A laser esthetician?
A laser statistician. That's exactly
what
I would
Google it, but I'm feeling like you right now.
Yeah, like who cares? Listen, you ready? I'm the Walter Cronkite of this podcast.
Or the Walter Cronkite of this podcast.
Gerald Ford is dead today.
Gerald Ford is dead today.
For you kids it would take so long to explain that joke. But if you are more than 37 years old and you don't know what I mean when I say Gerald Ford is dead today, go to YouTube and Google it. If you're too young to understand this sentence, don't bother Googling it because it won't be funny to you. It's an SNL sketch where they are doing an impersonation of Tom Brokaw pre-recording the news of Gerald Ford's potential death because Tom Brokaw is going on vacation. So they need him to pre-record things that might happen while he's on vacation.
And if you don't know who Tom Brokaw,
or Gerald Ford,
if you don't know who Gerald Ford is, you probably didn't pay attention in U.S. history.
Or the NBC Nightly News.
Tom Brokaw, I can give you a pass on if you're under the age of 35.
That's true. If you don't understand the concept of the newscaster being on vacation and having to do pre-recorded news, like that concept is just alien to potentially some of our younger listeners.
It's a real scenario.
There'll be a link in the show notes to that one.
They didn't have people that would be fill-ins back in the day. You had the face.
I think they had fill-ins, but they would want like the main person to announce the death of a former president.
Of major news stories. Yeah. There was no fill-in for a major news. Like if there was a major news story, it was always one of the big guys like Ken Jennings or not Ken Jennings.
Ken Jennings. One of the Ken Jennings.
I've watched too much Jeopardy.
It's what's his Jenner, right? No, what's his name? You're not that far off. It's Dan Rather, Tom Brokaw, and who's the guy that you're thinking of, which sounds very close to Ken Jennings. You're not that far off.
God bless.
I want to give you a pass on this one. It's Jenner or Jennings or it might be Allen. It's the ABC guy. You can Google that. The ABC.
It's nothing's coming
nightly
up.
News anchor. Come on. We didn't both simultaneously invent this person.
I guess we did.
No, we didn't. I want to help you on this one.
I guess like we just jumped from our original timeline to this timeline and made up this guy that never existed. That was on the news. Peter Jennings, not Ken Jennings. Peter Jennings. I had Jennings right.
Peter Jennings. I didn't want you to feel like you were going insane so much that I Googled it. Might be the first time I've ever Googled anything on this show. Peter Jennings, Dan Rather, Tom Brokaw, the three faces of the news.
Peter Jennings. He died in 2005. I had no idea that Peter Jennings died.
Oh, well, who would have told you?
Ken Jennings wouldn't. Ken Jennings wouldn't.
Dan Rather was already retired. Ken Jennings, no. Fuck that guy. You know what Ken Jennings would say? Who was Peter Jennings?
No, Ken Jennings wouldn't say that now because he hosts. He would say, this Canadian-born news anchor was ABC's main man for however many years he was active. And the answer would be, who is Ken Jennings? Who is fucking no? Who is Peter Jennings? Fuck you, Ken Jennings. You're in my head rent-free. I'm coming for you, Ken Jennings. I'm coming to Jeopardy. I'm coming for you. You hear me, Ken Jennings? Do you hear me? I'm coming for you, Ken Jennings.
Coming for his titles.
I'm applying for Jeopardy, motherfucker. I'm coming for you. Look me in my eye. Look me in my eye. I'm coming for you.
I used to be able to kind of do it after years in middle school of trying to do it.
Do you know what makes Gerald Ford different? This is a random fact, and that I'm going to help all of our audience members with. Do you know what makes Gerald Ford different than all of the other American presidents before and since?
He was named after a car company.
No. I think you're forgetting President Ken Nissan.
I thought you were going to say Honda. 100 hand slaps.
Honda was not born in America, so he can't be president. No, there's something about Gerald Ford that makes him unique amongst all American presidents.
He was a surly bastard.
Nope. There have been lots of surly bastard presidents. This is a weird one. I had to learn this one because neither of us were alive for Gerald Ford's presidency.
No, it wasn't. He died when we were born, but I don't know much about him.
No. He didn't die when we were born.
He died after we were born. Sorry, I should have phrased that differently. He died after we were born, not when we were born. After.
That's correct. Well, lots of U.S. presidents have died after we were born, so that's not it either.
Not. I wouldn't say lots.
Enough.
There's been Gerald Ford,
3,
Reagan,
and George the First. That's it. There's 3. 3 U.S. presidents have died after we were born.
That's not lots. That's a few by definition.
3 U.S. presidents have died after we were born, but only one of those presidents was
Gerald Ford.
And also never elected to the office of vice president or president.
What?
Gerald Ford was never elected to the office of vice president or president. Every single U.S. president has either been elected to the office of vice president or been elected to the office of president.
I thought Gerald Ford was a vice president.
He was a vice president. He was never elected.
He wasn't elected at. So how did he become vice president then?
So a lot of people forget.
I don't remember this part.
A lot of people remember that Nixon resigned.
Right.
But before Nixon resigned, his elected vice president, Spiro Agnew, went down for very similar shit. So then now they've got an empty vice presidential slot, and Ford was a senator, and he was there. You could be vice president. And then not that long later, Nixon was like, oh, just kidding. I don't want to be president anymore. It's too hard. I mean, I don't want to go to jail. And so he resigned. And then Gerald Ford becomes president and then served a partial term, lost to Jimmy Carter, therefore never elected.
Still alive, still kicking.
Nope.
On hospice.
Oh, Jimmy Carter. Yeah, Jimmy Carter's great.
Yeah. No.
I hope he outlives both of us. He's a good person.
I don't think that's going to happen because he's aging towards 100 and he's on hospice. So if that happens, we're going to die probably pretty soon. So let's not hope that.
Let's not hope that.
Let's not undo that, edit that, cast, do your thing.
Pulling it out like, oh.
Speaking of things that have happened.
Because I have speaking of dead people, so you go first.
Where are you going with that?
Speaking of dead people?
Yeah, because I'm going somewhere else. So I want to hear what you're saying first before I go on.
I have mine written down, so you go. You're famous for losing your point.
No, I know. This is something I've been thinking about since the beginning of the show. This is not going to go away. It's something you sent me, and I know it's going to come up. One of us is going to bring it up. It's something you sent me. You know what I'm talking about. Dead people.
Okay. A 76-year-old woman in Ecuador was declared dead and then astonished her family by knocking on her coffin during her wake and was not dead. Like woke up during her funeral.
I'm having a deja vu moment.
Deja vu about what?
I swear we've talked about something similar.
Did I forget to mark this one off? Okay, so what's the punchline then?
There's a punchline?
Yeah. Because again, I keep reading these articles like, oh, this is some weird news. And I always seem to gravitate to the detail that no one else thinks is weird.
I think this has happened multiple times, though.
Oh, maybe. It's like a zombie apocalypse.
There used to have bells that they would hang in and attach to coffins and everything. So
that is true. That was like a thing because the people were worried about it.
Yeah. And there's some kind of literal disease that mimics death, like your breath so shallow and your heart rate so slow that a physician would go, you're dead.
You are absolutely right that this has happened to other people before. You don't think I told you.
I feel like maybe we haven't on the show, but I swear we have talked about something similar.
You know what we have done this? We've killed it on this show before. That's what's happening.
Yeah. 78-year-old woman.
So she wakes up at her funeral. They're like, oh no, grandma's alive. They take her back to the same hospital that declared her dead the first time. And I'm just like, I get it, right? It's Ecuador, probably a small town. You may only have one choice. But if I went to a hospital and they're like, your mom's dead, and then I got irrefutable proof that they were wrong.
Like, she's not dead.
I would drive real far to get a second opinion.
At the same time, wouldn't you want to be like, told you so? Remember when we were like, when y'all said she was dead and we were like, are you sure? And y'all were like, yeah. And we were like, but are you sure? And you're like, yes, she's dead. And we're like, but are you sure?
Let's ask her. Let's get her opinion on whether or not she's dead. She mimicked death for so long that they put her in a coffin and were having a funeral. And they heard pounding inside the coffin during the open it up. Greatest funeral ever, I think. That's got to be.
Like, yay!
Funerals tend to be a real sad affair. You tell me that this funeral is going to end with the greatest ending to a funeral in everybody's opinion. Unless the person sucked.
Well, yeah. And it's like, everybody's like we're sad that they died, but
You were going to talk about something.
disturbing things like thinking grandma's dead at 78, only to find out she wasn't dead.
Yep.
And having to wrap your head around that. That's disturbing.
Mhm.
It's a positive disturbing, but it's disturbing. You shared with me earlier this week, or was it last week? It's in the past week.
Yep. Time is a capitalist invention.
You shared with me a very disturbing audio clip.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
And I shared that audio clip with a few people.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, here, listen to this.
Yep.
And I said, who is this? And within the first 3 seconds, they're like, that's you.
Okay.
It wasn't me.
Hold on. Pause the show.
Pause.
Let's play the audio clip.
This is Kentucky basketball. You camped out for 3 days to get these tickets, and you did it because you're the best fan base in America. You helped make this program what it is. I always tell kids when I meet them that this place isn't for everyone. It just isn't. It's different. When you come to Kentucky, you're committing to something much bigger than yourself. We will hold you accountable. We will not be afraid to coach you. We will push you to be your best every single day.
Okay, that was the audio clip that we're talking about.
I didn't say that.
It's freaky, right?
It's freaky. It sounds like me.
Yep.
This sounds uncannily like me. Like if I was trying to enunciate and pronounce things and have exquisite articulation and everything I said, that sounded like me. It was kind of scary because I'm like, but the good thing is I could program that to where I could just type in what I want to say and have it talk for me for my job.
Yeah, that's true. Very much.
So I never have to open my mouth one time because it'll sound like me enough. Yeah. To where when they actually call me back, save a little bit of time.
So I'll give a shout out. That's Elevenlabs.
Thank you, Elevenlabs, or screw you, Elevenlabs. I don't know.
I paid you Elevenlabs. So thank you for providing a service.
Oh, well, thank you. But that's very creepy.
But that's their multilingual. It does like 9 languages and you just type it in and like, that's deep fakes and shit, my man.
That is uncanny.
It's crazy. And it
Yeah.
took the only thing that I used was just your half of the most recent episode that we've done.
Wow.
I took that half. I just chopped out all the silences, dropped. I think I used less because it had a maximum of 10 minutes. So I didn't even use, because in the hour-long show, you basically talk for approximately a half an hour. So I used less than the whole show and got that.
Wow. That's crazy. 10 minutes,
10
it
minutes.
took my voice and made it sound like me.
So for anybody who thinks they can trust, like you couldn't trust anything that was on the internet before, but
Now we really can't.
now you just can't. And it's pretty crazy.
I'm not going to be able to trust myself now.
My wife said that if you're not available for the next show, that I can just do ChatGPT again, but then just pump the text through the dev voice machine.
Put me on it. Yeah. Well, I've been replaced. Fucking crazy ChatGPT. ChatGPT. I can't even talk. That's what happens when you play kickball. Drink too much.
Did you drink too much tonight? We're finally doing a night record as our welcome back.
Maybe I did. Maybe I did.
Currently I'm finishing a Sweetwater Brewing Hazy IPA.
I have beer for humans.
Beer for humans. That I've never questioned it before right now, but now I'm wondering why my beer is not for humans.
Is it for animals?
Mine is hazy, juicy, fresh, and double dry hopped.
Sounds like something for an animal or an alien.
We endowed this straight up juice bomb with a double dry hop.
Sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, probably not. It tasted like exactly how they said it tasted.
This one's much more simpler. Says the beer, bright, crisp, and easy to like. The humans make the world go round. BFH helps humans and brews community.
For those of you who are currently thinking, boy, IPAs are gross, I just cracked open a double IPA. So it probably tastes twice as much like you don't like.
It's a Sweetwater as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the hazy double IPA.
This is an easy hop ale. instead of a hard hop ale.
So it's July again.
It's July again.
Mm-hmm.
And that means it's time.
Please laugh.
It's summertime in the top half of the world, Apocalyptos, and many of you will be at the beach or the pool craving a margarita or a refreshing drink. With the BlendJet 2, the ultimate portable blender, that craving can now be satisfied. It's small enough to fit in a cup holder, but powerful enough to blast through tough ingredients like ice and frozen fruit with ease. BlendJet 2 is portable, so you can blend up a smoothie at work, a protein shake at the gym, or even that margarita on the beach. It's whisper quiet, ensuring you can enjoy your morning smoothie without waking up the whole house. It lasts for over 15 blends, recharges quickly via USB-C, and it even cleans itself. Just blend water with a drop of soap and you're good to go. Available in over 30 colors and patterns, there's a BlendJet 2 for every taste and style. What are you waiting for? Go to blendjet.com and grab yours today. And be sure to use the promo code DEVANDKYLE, DEVANDKYLE, to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. No other portable blender on the market comes close to the quality, power, and innovation of the BlendJet 2. They guarantee you'll love it or your money back. Blend anytime, anywhere with the BlendJet 2 portable blender. Go to blendjet.com and the promo code DEVANDKYLE to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. Shop today and get the best deal ever.
All right, so here's the joke, Dev. The bartender says, "We don't serve time travelers here." The time traveler walks into a bar.
Oh, dear Lord. Well,
Speaking of our Lord and Savior, Joey Chestnut, did you see the Nathan's hot dog eating contest this year?
no, because I'm tired of watching the same man eat dozens of hot dogs every year and win. When he retires, I might watch it again because there was that Kobayashi guy that.
Yep, we talked about this last year. Yep, he retired.
And I was like, no, Joey, you dominate. Everybody knows you dominate. There's nobody's going to come close to you.
So here's the thing. I read an article this year in advance of the 4th of July. So last year, he ate 63 hot dogs. Second place got 48.
Pretty big gap.
We talked about last year about how he still ate 63 hot dogs while having time to put a protester in a headlock.
Which is impressive.
Oh, yeah. No, that video of him having hot dogs in his mouth, putting that person in a headlock, then moving on.
And still just chowing down like, no thing.
So a late June 2023 article this year says, quotes Joey, "It was a terrible year, the 2022 event, because he had a ruptured right Achilles tendon." I didn't even see in the video that he was in a boot when he headlocked that protester.
That's even more impressive.
And the injury had kept him from his usual cardio routine, which he does, contrary to old stereotypes of burly, big-bellied eaters. He is constantly doing cardio to keep himself in eating shape.
I mean, you would have to, or do a lot of heavy lifting, or a combo of the two.
Yeah. He apparently attempts to eat as many hot dogs as possible. He apparently does the Nathan's hot dog routine. Once a week, he does it.
Wow.
And while he holds the world record for 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes, that's his own personal world record from 2021. He's had an off couple of years because this year he only ate 62, worse than 63 from 2022.
With a blown Achilles and headlocking a protester.
Yeah, he didn't have any of those problems this year. Do you know what is crazy?
Wasn't there a rain delay this year though?
Yes. So he pre-called it in this article I was reading. That's what made me go back to the article and reread it for tonight's show. Because I had read the article and it was like, oh, okay, well, whatever, and last year, apparently his mother had died like 2 months before the show. R.I.P. Mrs. Chestnut.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So he was having a terrible 2022 and he ate 63 versus the 48. 2023, he calls it in this June interview. He says, I'm really thinking I'm in great shape. I can make a run at my own record. because while he's done a world record recognized 76 in 10 minutes, he says that in his basement, he's done more than 80 10 times this year. He, in his own basement, as his training routine, once a week, he emulates the Nathan's Hot Dog event just by himself, just to see what he can do.
I can only imagine he's got it set up to where he's got the stage built. He's got like cardboard cutouts or like actual mannequins of people in the crowd and like people up on the stage.
Yeah.
And he eats.
And a protester runs up halfway through and he just rips the head off the mannequin.
And he's like,
eats the head. Like, bah.
It's a man and hot dog.
It's just a hot dog mannequin.
Yeah. All the mannequins are made of hot dogs and he eats the mannequins.
Yeah.
So he's eating his competition every time. So it's like a psychological thing.
It's like that scene from Home Alone, but he just grabs that mannequin and just devours it. Like, and then the wet bandits see him eating a mannequin through the window. And so they don't even fuck with the house. And the movie's way worse.
Like, this kid's a cannibal.
This kid's a cannibal. No, that's not it. What he says in the article is what I'm really hoping for is good weather. And there was a rain delay, as you said, this year, because according to Joey, he's so good that his hot dog performance is impaired by the ambient humidity, putting too much water in the buns and making them denser. He called it.
I mean,
in June, they were like, how's it going to go this year? He's like, I think I can do 80 as long as the buns aren't too soggy from the ambient humidity being high. I read, Nathan's hot dog rain delay. I was like, oh, Joey did terrible this year. Got to the bottom of the article.
He's not going to do it.
He only got 62 versus last year's 63.
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense.
It does make physics sense. What doesn't make sense is that his competitors are not yet good enough to be impacted by humidity.
They're still hitting the same numbers, though.
It was the mid 40s. Like
nobody can get above 40s. He is in the 60s and they're in the 40s. There's nobody that can touch him unless Kobayashi comes out of retirement.
No, Kobayashi says he's long done. But you know what's also crazy? We talked all about Joey Chestnut last year, but did you realize that the women's field is also dominated by one person?
I thought there was like 2 or 3 that were in the top in the women's.
No.
There's just one.
The only reason that Miki Sudo, her name, just as good as Joey, Miki Sudo, the only year that Miki has not won, she set the record in 2020 when she ate 48 and a half hot dogs in 10 minutes. And the only year that she hasn't done is the year that she tapped out because she was actively pregnant.
I can't go anymore because I have another human growing in me and it's hurting really, really bad.
She had a baby July 8th, 2021. So she did not compete July 4th, 2021. The winner that year, Michelle Lesko, 30.75. When the previous 2020 was 48 and a half. And then 2022, 42. Just puts up mega numbers. And again,
I can't even fathom.
There's not a second place competitor to take down. Like, there's not even competition in the female ranks, right? For Women's World Cup, there's no competition and the USA just keeps winning over and over and over again. And you're just sort of looking to see who's in second place. But at least on the men's side of it, it's a different team every year. Like, oh, look, it's exciting.
We're learning more and more about that thanks to our soccer correspondent.
Yeah, exactly.
Of the show.
Well, I think we're learning that we're not going to be any better this year or next year or whenever we do it again.
And I've heard like the women aren't going to do that well in the World Cup this year either.
I think they're just lowering expectations.
Lowering expectations so when they win it, it's like, oh, look, they were underdogs. Nah, we are women's soccer. We are not underdogs in women's soccer.
No.
We never will be underdogs in women's soccer. After the initial Women's World Cup win that we had with, oh my God, Julie Vowdy, was that her name?
I genuinely have no idea.
The one who took her shirt off and like did the slide with her sports bra and everybody like.
I thought that was Mia Hamm.
That wasn't Mia Hamm that did the slide.
Oh, I don't know.
Mia Hamm was on that team, but she wasn't
She didn't do the electric slide.
No, she didn't do the electric slide.
I bet she has. I'm just saying statistically, she's been to a wedding.
Everyone has done the electric slide at some point in their life, whether you want to admit it or not. You've done the electric slide.
I have an active hatred for line dancing, and I've done the electric slide.
I mean,
that's one of those opinions that I haven't given up yet.
They'll take you on a party ride, and they'll teach you. They'll teach you the electric slide.
So it's getting pretty late tonight, and so I want to leave you with one final fact about Joey, because a lot of people think he's only the hot dog guy.
He's an eating champ. In multiple venues.
Your minor league baseball team had Joey and like Joey Chestnut night, and he was like the minor celebrity out at the minor league baseball stadium, and they had a photo opportunity, and people would come up and like, oh, I want to take a photo with Joey. And the reporter reported that the woman apologized. She apologized to Joey, which felt weird. She said, oh, I'm still a fan of yours, but I'm a vegetarian. Sorry. Which, that's weird to apologize to a guy who's famous for eating a lot of meat, that you apologize for your life choices.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan. I'm sorry that I don't eat meat.
Yeah. Like, I don't go up to Michael Jordan and be like, hey, I like basketball. You're pretty good at basketball. I'm sorry that I don't play basketball anymore. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen. Joey tells her to console her. He says, oh, don't worry. You don't have to be a fan of mine for eating meat. I'm also the world record holder in eating 12 pounds of deep fried asparagus in 10 minutes in 2014. 12 pounds. That's over 5 kilograms for those listeners who can't celebrate having been to the moon.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of deep fried asparagus.
That's a lot of deep fried asparagus.
Can you imagine how long his pee smelled?
Weeks.
Do you think it's an intensity or a time? Like, do you think that first it's a lot, or do you think that there's like a maximum and then it lasts? Like the metabolism of deep fried asparagus.
I don't eat asparagus.
How does that go? You don't eat asparagus?
I don't eat asparagus. Why not? So I don't know. I just don't like the texture or the taste.
What if you deep fried it?
Maybe. I've never tried it. Maybe I would, and maybe I could beat his record. Maybe I could be the 10-minute deep fried asparagus eating champ and eat 13 pounds and be like, screw you, Joey Chestnut.
I think that's what they'll say about you. The 10-minute man.
The 10-minute man, which, hey,
that'd be pretty great at my age.
I will take it. Never had asparagus, been a fan of it. I've tried it a couple times.
I may have told you this. I am genetically incapable of smelling asparagus pee.
What?
Yeah. It's a particular compound that makes it smell like that.
And you can't smell it.
I can't smell it. I don't know if that is people just have, detection receptors. Like people who say that cilantro tastes like soap.
Like me?
Is because they are Oh, do you feel that way?
Yeah.
That means you're particularly attuned to a different compound that exists in cilantro that the majority of human beings are unable to detect. But because you are of an extra detector, that compound tastes like soap.
Tastes like shit.
Well, soap, I think, is different.
But it doesn't taste good.
I've had my mouth washed out with soap, and I've never had my mouth washed out with shit, but I think...
No, yeah. It does not taste appetizing. It's not appealing. When I see cilantro bits in my salsa, I try to go around it because if I get it, I know the minute I put it in my mouth, it's going to taste like tomato soap.
Yeah, so I'm unable to detect the compound that generates the smell for asparagus pee. And I don't know if it's unrelated because I'm also unable to smell the stinky Asian durian fruit.
See, I've never smelled that before, and I don't think I ever want to smell that before because I can only imagine the stench. I've heard it smells like a rotting corpse.
That's what I have heard as well. Never experienced it. And I've been inches away from it.
And I don't want to know.
Because we were walking around a Singaporean street market, and the guy was like, "Oh," and he was one of my local sales reps, and he turned around and he was like, "Oh, we might not want to go this way." He's like, you can probably already smell that. I was like, I don't know. And the lady behind me who was walking with us, she was like, what is that? And I could not smell anything. And so he and I went over. She left. She went and waited. And he's like, you really can't smell that? I'm like, no, not at all. We walked right over to a freshly cut open durian, and it smells vaguely sweet, akin to vanilla.
Did you taste it?
Yeah, tastes amazing.
Did it taste amazing?
Yeah, because I can't.
I've heard it tastes amazing, even though it smells like death.
It tastes amazing and doesn't smell like death. So I'm like a magic durian eater.
Well, that makes me jealous.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons to be jealous of me. Let's be honest. And on that note, I have been Kyle.
And I have been the other guy, not Kyle.
And we have attempted to start the apocalypse. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Kicker in the Jennings.
Dev and Kyle Start the Apocalypse is brought to you every other week with a full archive available at devandkyle.com. The Apocalypse theme and other music in the show is written and performed by Chase Noseworthy. He's Chase Noseworthy on YouTube or at NoseworthyChase on Twitter. All graphic design for Dev and Kyle Start the Apocalypse has been created by Dead Vision. Find her work on Twitter and Insta at XDADOTTER and book her immense talents at XDADOTTER.com. Audio engineering provided by Cassandra Umsong. She can make you sound even better than Dev and Kyle because you'll provide much better raw materials. Get in touch with her on Twitter at coffeewithcoom. That's coffee with COUM. Dev and Kyle support artists and creatives of all types. Exposure is for film. Artists need compensation. If you're interested in becoming an apocalypto to help keep supporting all of the artists who make Dev and Kyle sound passably professional, please consider becoming a sustaining patron at patreon.com/devandkyle. Show notes, transcripts, and any other information from this episode should be available at devandkyle.com if Dev and or Kyle did their job. Fingers crossed. Finally, deeply and sincerely, Dev and Kyle think that you are a wonderful person who deserves love and compassion. We hope our small gift of what we consider interesting or entertaining has made your day even the tiniest bit better. Thank you for liking or subscribing in your favorite podcast app. And if you think others may want to know about this show, consider leaving a review in that same podcast app. It really helps us spread the word. Thank you.